Hello everyone, it's Theme Park Avenue, I'm Eric. Universal Studios Florida at Universal Orlando Resort has tons of great rides. Some people would wait hours upon hours for, and they go to the park just for those. Revenge of the Mummy, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, Men in Black Alien Attack, and so on. However, there are some rides I think you should not ride if you go there, if you're short on time. They can be found at other parks, there are better versions in certain cases at other parks, and in general, some of these rides are not necessarily that great. So if a lot of things have long lines, and this is one of them, you may want to skip. So here are the rides that you should skip if you go to Universal Studios Florida. First off, we have Minion Mayhem. Despicable Me Minion Mayhem is okay. It's a fun little simulator for kids, but as far as simulators go, I think there are better ones for sure. I would recommend going on the Simpsons ride instead, if your stomach can handle it, that is. And there's the fact that this is not the only one of its kind. There are plenty of other Minion simulators. You have one over at Universal Studios Hollywood, which is not quite as highly visited. And I feel that while this one definitely has its fans, and I'm sure plenty like it, it is more or less sitting in front of a screen, and it's not really worth a long wait, so you definitely will want to try to go for some other, honestly better rides if you go to the park. On that note of simulators, the next one I'm going to talk about is Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon. Widely considered much worse than Minion Mayhem, I slightly prefer it, but I still would not wait long for it. I think I would only go on this one if it had a very short 5 to 10 minute wait, and most other great rides had a 30 to 45 minute or higher wait. So overall, this one, it has a good queue, so waiting for it is fun. You get a nice little show from the Ragtime Gals and other people, but unfortunately the ride itself is like Minion Mayhem, not really worth a long wait, maybe fun for younger kids and all, but still not the finest out there. But now we're going to move a little bit away from this whole simulator thing, and talk about Kengan Kodos Whirl and Twirl. Kengan Kodos is a fun little spinner ride. It's Simpsons themed and I like it, but it's definitely not something you need to prioritize. I dare say this is the one to skip, with one exception I'll get to later, because it is far from unique. There are tons of other spinners that I think have a little less seeming to them, but all around the world, nearly every park is a ride like this. This one might be a little better, but you're not going to miss out. If this is a 20-minute wait, you're going to waste your time if you wait 20 minutes. It's better to go on basically any other ride. There's not a whole lot else to say about this one, but now let's talk a bit of a tough one. Transformers the Ride is a maybe skip. Hear me out. The main reason I say this one is because even though some think it's one of the best rides in the park, I think the issue is that not only is it not unique, it has been cloned quite a bit, but it's also just an inferior version of a ride that is at Islands of Adventure, which is right next door. The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man is a significant jump in quality, in my eyes, compared to Transformers. The reason I would say it's better is because the whole screen aspect and 3D integration fits much better with the bright, colorful Spider-Man theme, as opposed to the dark, gritty, somewhat boring Transformers stuff. Maybe it's a personal preference, but I think if you had to choose between this, Revenge of the Mummy, Men in Black, Harry Potter stuff, the E.T. ride, basically any major ride, disregarding screen stuff, I would say this is the last one you should ride. I would even say you should probably ride Woody Woodpecker's Nut House Coaster first. Okay, that's a joke. It's closed anyway. I just like talking about that one because it's a funny name. Either way, Transformers is a good ride, no doubt. But I think if you go on a very crowded day, it should be lower on your list of priorities than you might have it, unless you're a big fan of the franchise. But now the one you should skip in any situation, because no matter what, it's a waste of time. You may have guessed it, Fast and Furious Supercharged. What a bad ride this one is. I don't like anything about it. I've talked extensively before about how bad the ride is. The only thing that is worth spending time on is walking through the queue. But even then, the line is fairly quite short, so you're not going to be spending a lot of time there anyway. The ride itself is boring, poorly put together. There's no thrill, there's no really great action in the way you'd expect from Fast and Furious. The ride is just not something that most people enjoy. Some go in for ironic enjoyment like they're watching a So Bad It's Good type movie, but unfortunately, I don't get that. You might get it if you ride, and that's the only reason I think you should ride this. If there is no wait on this, and there is an hour wait for Revenge of the Mummy, I would say go to Revenge of the Mummy, no doubt. This is just a bad ride, there is nothing redeemable about it, and I would say if you had time to go on every single ride at this park, skip Fast and Furious. That is my honest opinion. But overall, the takeaway from this video, the screen stuff is not quite as interesting, such as the simulators Minion Mayhem and Racer New York. Transformers is the weakest of the major quote-unquote e-ticket attractions. And the Spinner Ride King of Kodos is a relatively unnecessary one to hit. And of course, Fast and Furious is bad, so skip that. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was useful for some people planning a trip to Universal Studios Florida. Comment down below other parks you want to see this for, subscribe for more theme park content, I'll see you next time.